Hey, welcome back. All right, let's just get back into our theory here. So part 4, clefs. So we use symbols called clefs that when placed at the beginning of each staff, the clef will point to or tell us the name or pitch of one of those specific lines. So the most common clefs are the treble clef and the bass clef, or we call them the G clef and the F clef. So here, this is the treble clef, and this is the bass clef. And here, we can see it on both staffs with all the notes going across from low pitch all the way up to the high pitch. And here, our middle C right here, right in the middle of our piano. And that's how it's all set up. That's the concept. Now you can see the middle C, and it's right in the middle of your piano. So the word clef, it's actually a French word. It's the word clé, like a key. And it's the key to knowing all the note names on that staff. So once you know one note name, if you know that one line, what the name is, then you can use that alphabetical order, because all the notes always appear in this alphabetical order: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, remember from the past video. And then when I hit G, I start back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, on and on. So once you know just one line, so this is the F line, well then you can just use the alphabet, go through it. This is the G line. This is a G note. This is an F note. Figure it out. Just do the logic. So, the origin of the G clef. It used to be written like a G. And then it evolved over time and became like this swirly, really cool looking thing. And it actually was a G. And then the F clef, it's the same thing. It was an F, and then they came up with all these different variations for it. But we finally settled on our G and our F clef. So, this swirl here, it swirls around that G line, and it kind of makes an X, a bullseye right there. And on the F clef, these dots are placed one above and below the F line. So there, we see our F note, and here we see our G note. It'll always appear on that line. And then we just go through our alphabet, upwards or backwards through it, to get the A space, the B line. So another way that I kind of like to call it is it's a staircase. It's like you're going up a staircase, or up rungs on a ladder, or down a staircase, one way or the other. So there are a few tricks that you can use to remember. In the treble clef, it's going to spell F-A-C-E, the word face. And for the lines, the way that you can remember that is that it gives us, if we take the first letter of every word here, every good boy deserves fudge, we get E for every, G for good, B for boy, D for deserves, F for fudge. So that's how we can remember the 5 lines in the treble clef. And then here, a very similar trick for the F clef or the bass clef here is we get the A, C, E, G. So A for all, C for cows, E for eat, and G for grass. And yes, it is true. All cows eat grass. And then for the lines, we get the G line, G for golf, B line, balls. Golf balls don't fly away. So that's the B line for balls, D line for D, F line for F, fly, and the A line for away. One other thing too is at least where I'm from, I get to see, I live in Quebec, and we have books that we can get available in stores that are in French and books that'll be in English. And I tend to notice that most of the books in English will use C, D, E, F, G, or just the letters of the alphabet. But then books in French, they'll use do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. We've all heard that too. So my little trick is that I write down do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do on a piece of paper. And then under the fa, I put F, fa, and F. It's pretty easy to remember. I'll even put a little circle or something around that. And then I'll just go through our musical alphabet. So after F comes G, so that's the sol. And then whenever I hit a G, I got to start back to A. So La is the A. And then on and on. So Do is the C, Re is the D, Mi is the E. You get the idea. So you just got to keep practicing and writing this out a few times, and you'll get used to it. And that way you can always know how to translate between the two of them. And I don't want to forget the girls. I learned this over the years teaching a variation on these little tricks. So face for the spaces, face rhymes with space even on top of it. And that doesn't change. But this, the E line, we can say every G girl, B better, D deserve fudge. Every girl better deserve fudge. And then for the bass clef, it's the same tricks. All cows eat grass, that's for the spaces. And then golf balls don't fly away, that's for the lines. And of course, just remember, practice this. It's good to know, especially if you live in Quebec, where we have a lot of people who will use either or. I've found it very useful over the years to just be very fluent, if you will, in both. So there's one last thing I want to just show you guys, which is the more advanced C clef. This was, it's a stylized C, just like the G clef was a G and this was an F for the F clef. It's a little more advanced. It's the tenor and alto clef. And we'll talk more about that at another time. It's quite rare. The most popular used ones are the bass clef and the treble clef. And then when you join the two together, which is what we use for piano music, we get the grand staff. And to join them, we put this line here and this bracket. And as you can see here, this middle C, it's always the same middle C right in the middle. That sound, this sound, that sound, it doesn't matter what the instrument is. If it's like, nah, that sound is going to be a middle C marked, that pitch. If we remember the video from before, that C, that pitch, it's that middle C line that I've highlighted here. So, and then we see the baritone, tenor, alto, mezzo, soprano, and soprano clefs here. It's just taking the C clef and moving where the C line is. See how in alto clef it's in the middle of the 5 lines here. So that's basically it. That covers clefs. And that concludes our video. So I'll see you on the next one.